Hello everyone, hello my dear students. We continue learning Python. Today is our second lesson. I'm gonna try to keep it fast. One day, one lesson. What we did was introduction, lesson 1, from where you can get the software, what IDE is about, and we tried very simple first program in Python. Today I wanted to introduce you our first very important term, statement. So a statement is a piece of action. It's certainly a job, a request for computer to do certain thing. In other words, the program you write is a sequence of statements, and computer is reading our statements, and computer is executing our statements one by one, from the very top of the program to the very bottom. The important thing is there are two types of statements. By the way, you may compare statement as English sentence in imperative mood. So something like get, add, connect, print, compare. So computer program is similar to a series of English statements or English commands in imperative mood. So the thing is, there are two types of statements. Some of them are simple. They take just one line of code. Some of them are more advanced. We call them sometimes compound statements or control statements, and they could be very long, from let's say 10 lines of code to 100, 200 lines. There is no limit for the length of the compound statements. An example of simple statement is assignment statement or function call statement or interruption statement. We quite often use in Python simple one-line interruption statements like break, continue, exit. An examples of compound statements are, of course, if else statement, looping statements, while, and for, exception handling statements, try, except, and so on and so forth. For now, just get it. Statement is basically a piece of your program. It's a piece of action. It's a command to do something. There are two types of statements: simple, one line, and compound. By the way, compound statement, of course, may have inside simple statements. Or even more, compound statement may have another compound statement. So we may nest compound statements as far as you want. So there is no limit for nesting compound statements. However, use your common sense, because if you nest or insert or embed compound statements into each other too much, your program is hard to read, hard to understand, and hard to follow. So let's take an example. I prepared a short program and we are going to analyze it from this point of view, from the statements point of view. So it's a very simple calculator. What it does, it's asking for two numbers. Computer, going to ask for one number, then another number. Then computer going to ask for the operation. You have 4 operations: plus, minus, division, multiplication. Then computer analyzes the operations, and depending on your operation, the operation provided by the user, computer does addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So it's a very simple calculator program. Right now, because it's only second lesson, you don't have to really get into details. I want to just demonstrate this concept, what statement is and what type or types of statements there are. Let me run it. So let me show you how it's working. So let's say my first number is 1299, my second number 1355. I want to divide one to another, and here we are. You see, computer does it and it shows me the result. Of course, I may round up in Python any number. However, I leave it simple, and you see the number is pretty long. It's not rounded up. Now, let's take a closer look. What happens here, it's not a statement. It's a connection to Python library sys. Python has a lot of pre-written code. That's why we don't have to write a lot of simple time-consuming tasks. They already programmed for us. They already part of libraries or system libraries. So that's not a statement. It just says connect library sys. Python has a few popular libraries, so please connect it to my program so I can use stuff from library sys. Then here we are. You see first simple statements. You see 5 statements. I declared variables and I initialized the variables. So I put some values into my variables. Variables, by the way, it's the next lesson topic. So you see from line 4 to line 8, 5 simple assignment statements. Part number 2, we now asking for the numbers, and I'm using library functions. So I call pre-written functions from Python library, like print, like input, like float, and they do what I need to do. So some library functions like print, they show the messages on the screen. Some library functions like input, they accept input from the keyboard. Some library functions, they are converting text to numbers. Anyway, no need right now to get into details. Just for your information, lines 10 to 17 are simple statements. They occupy just one line of coding. But in line 19, by the way, I didn't tell you about number sign. It's a comment. So if you need to explain something in your program to your, let's say, friends or to yourself sometimes, you put comments. Comments are for us, for humans, they are ignored by Python compiler. So the third part of my program is now compound statement. You see, it can be very long. So that's the whole statement if else. So what it does is it analyzes operations, and depending on the operation, this long else if compound statement does different math operations. So you see inside big compound statements, simple statements, assignment, library call, and by the way, very often in those compound or control statements, we have to indent simple statements, so it's very clear what happens if user chose plus. That's what happens. If the user chose minus, that's what happens. So indents are very important in Python. Be careful with the indents, and sometimes we call the group of indented statements block. So you see lines 20 and 21 is block of simple statements. By the way, my program also does some arrow checking. So in case user didn't type good operation, program supposed to finish and we do not print any results. But in case the operation was provided properly, the final part is to print the result. So I can show you one more time what happens if we run this program. Let's say I type wrong character for the operation, and you see program terminates. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't print anything, it just says wrong operation. So let's run it one more time, and let's try now multiplication, and here we are. You see 12 times 13 is 156. However, sometimes even simple statement could be quite long. For example, you create a variable for a movie name or book name, or you want to save in your variable a short story, then you have to use a special character, continuation character, in order to keep typing simple statement on new and new lines. For instance, let me show you if my message is very, very long and it doesn't fit one line. What I can do, I can type backslash character, and then I can continue typing this long line on a new line. So backslash character in Python is used to split a simple long statement into a few lines of coding. So let me check if my modified version is working. Let me run it again. 1, 2, minus, and yes, you see all the asterisks are printed properly. However, this simple statement print took not one, it took 2 lines of the coding. Thank you very much for listening. Our lessons are short, but I'm going to publish them very fast, most likely every day. And today we cover statements, unit of action. Your program consists of statements, and they are interpreted by computer from the very top to the very bottom, one by one. Let me close my coding. Thank you very much for watching my video. Don't hesitate, please share your comments, your criticism if you have any, and subscribe to the channel so you going to be notified. Have a good day. All the best.